Well, Matt, I'm already looking forward to next week's press conference because I don't need to ask you about transfers anymore. Obviously, a day to go, a bit more until the window shuts. Where are we at in terms of potential incomings and outgoings?
Still potential. I suppose the deeper it goes, the more heightened the conversations are and the closer deals get to being done one way or another, because there is a cut-off point going towards the weekend. So yeah, I'm like you, I'm looking forward to this time next week where we can talk about other things in life other than the transfer window. But regardless what happens in the next couple of days, I think we're quite comfortable and quite pleased with the business which has been done previously.
Yeah, I was listening to the radio coming in, and a lot of clubs are leaving it late. So you're not alone there, are you? How confident are you of bringing a new player in? And if I can be specific, I know you've been looking for a striker the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that position has been looked at for a long period of time now, not just the last couple of weeks. We worked so hard to get Chrissy re-signed to start with, and then obviously bringing Ruel and promising. But we still wanted to add to that group of out-and-out centre forwards. We've got a lot of the hybrid attacking players in between the lines, but out-and-out centre forwards is important, even more so on probably what happened at the weekend. So yeah, we're working towards it. I expect to have another body in by the weekend, but you never quite know in football until things are fully signed, sealed and delivered, I suppose.
And it's important not to just sign anybody, is it? It's get the right profile, the right player, and if that player isn't available, so be it.
Yes, but we have to be understanding of where we are, budget-wise, situation-wise, circumstance-wise, where we've worked towards on other areas of pitch and obviously strengthened, and also availability. There's not many, unless you're going to outlay a huge financial amount, there's not many real quality available. So more than likely you're going to move towards players who are available for whatever reason. If it's a loan, they're probably young players trying to find their way in the game and make their way in the game, and we'll look to develop them. And if they're free agents, so to speak, then it's not just on the next couple of days. They might come at a later stage.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there was a free agents 11 playing for the PFA in the week, and there's some really good names there. So if you don't sign someone in the next 24 hours, is the free agent market something you'd look at as well?
Of course it is. I think Chris Martin signed, was it September, October last season? So that's a prime example of what can be achieved if you're sensible in that market. Yeah, I think that game was a game against Cambridge.
It was.
So yeah, we've been trying to find out a team sheet to see who was playing and who wasn't playing. But great to see, first and foremost, great to see what the PFA have done this year in terms of hosting that and providing that provision for out-of-contract footballers. I've been one myself, so it's hugely important to be able to train full-time and then not going into a club at this time throughout the season or at this stage in the season with no training and no games and no pre-season, and then you're just constantly playing catch-up throughout the course of the season. So, well done and congratulations in terms of PFA and everyone involved in that. And there are still a lot of good players who aren't tied down anywhere else. And I still think that will be the case after the next couple of days.
And outgoings, is there any likelihood of anyone leaving, if not permanently on loan?
Potentially. Certainly there's 3 or 4 of the younger ones who, let's be honest, we're trying to wait for or trying to find league clubs for them in the next couple of days. If that doesn't materialise, then we go straight into the non-league market, which is a little bit more open in terms of window and their age. So we're still hopeful that we might get a little bit of league interest in some of our good young players. But like I said, if that doesn't happen in the next couple of days and they still have to go out and get loan time, that will just be at non-league level.
One or two maybe knocks and bruises after Stockport. Any updates on Chris and Joel?
Yeah, not ideal really. Chris has broken his fibula, so he's going to be out for a significant period of time. And Joel's got a significant tear of his hamstring tendon. So a disappointing day result-wise turned into a pretty bad day on the injury front. That's 2 impacts we've had now, Chrissy, and then obviously Jamie the week before. That can't be helped. Their tackles, their moments, is a physical game. We'll support both players through their rehabilitation, but they won't be on the team sheet anytime soon. Yeah,
so with Chris, are we talking weeks, months, or is it too early to speculate?
Look, it's not a weight-bearing bone. Everyone knows that with the fibula, but it's a broken bone, and a broken bone in his leg, so it's going to be a significant period of time. Best case scenario between a 6 to 8 week mark, but realistically, with where he'll be at, having missed a bit of chunk of pre-season, it might be closer towards a 10-week mark, and it's similar, if not more, for John.
So does that add to the need to have to bring an extra body in? Is that almost heighten the need to bring someone in?
Well, no, I mean, we were trying before that, so we've tried to have a strategy and a plan. We're trying to stick to it as much as we possibly can and not be reactive to a result or an injury. We shouldn't have to do that if the plan is right. But I suppose in football, sometimes you have to be reactive, and with it being a serious injury, which it is, then certainly puts a little bit more pressure on who we've got in the building, and then keeping them fit for the longer period of time. But nothing's changed from our point of view in terms of the position we're looking to bring in, and hopefully we'll have one in.
So no Chris for the foreseeable. 1 goal in 3 games. The inevitable question is, are you confident there are goals in this team?
Yeah, I'm still confident. Like I say, last weekend was a strange game because we created enough to be on the score sheet, but they still worked the goalkeeper enough. So it's where the chances are coming, who they fall into, how the team are going to create. I mean, I think everyone's biggest frustration after the weekend was our inability to retain the ball often enough or for long enough to hurt the opposition. I still think we've got goals in this team, and even with Chrissy starting at the weekend, albeit his injury, that group of our centre forwards have had such a disjointed pre-season in terms of combinations, partnerships, game time, fitness, sharpness, brightness. Ruel's set to get a bit more game time and a run. Promise the same. We're looking forward to seeing how that partnership develops and then who we can add to it. But it can't just be on our attacking players. I think our best 2 chances of the first 30 minutes fell to Taylor Moore and Bryant from 2 corners, and those are the fine margins in football. We have to hit the target. We have to work the goalkeeper more in those situations. So I'm looking forward to seeing how different partnerships work and develop, and different dynamics to other areas of the pitch.
The season's in its infancy. You've had 2 tough away games. Are you happy with the start of the season?
Yeah, well, look, like I say, we're disappointed and a bit frustrated with ourselves because we felt we were in control of a lot of the stop-but game without using the ball well enough and threatening the opposition goal often enough. Even the chances we created weren't worked moments in terms of the goalkeeper. So we do feel we can improve a lot of our areas. I think we've shown a tough side to us in all our games. Obviously, a couple of mistakes that stop-but cost us in terms of the actual scoreline, but a real toughness to the group, a solid-looking group. We want to add more to it in an attacking sense, which you've touched upon there. Generally, I've been pretty pleased with what I've seen. A good foundation to keep building on. Still a new and a fresh team, and we'll get some inconsistencies within it. Just with a little bit of the loss of the seniority of Jamie Lindsay and then Chris Martin, the group does feel quite young and naive at times, but I think we're going to be like that across the course of this season. And we're looking forward to some home comforts this weekend. I don't think we'll get many tougher away games than Rotherham and Stockport away.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably had your fair share of injuries already, and we're not even at the end of August. Do you feel like you're due a bit of a break?
Oh, like I said, 2 impact injuries, 2 tackles. Jamie could have walked away from that tackle absolutely fine. That's not a particularly serious one. Chrissy on a slightly split second, sooner or later, doesn't break his leg. So, football's such a strange game in relation to that. And the squad's got to be strong enough to deal with injuries. One thing we found last season, if they mount up too much, of course, it takes its toll. But we're still in a good place. It's not been an ideal reaction or response in terms of what we've had, scan and X-ray wise on the back of Saturday. I would have liked the different phone calls on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. But that's football, and that's part and parcel of it. I don't want this season's headlines to be about our injury problems if they do or don't come.
It's going to be tough on Saturday, isn't it? Because a lot of fans will turn up and see Cambridge, I think, 1 point, expecting a win, but it's never that easy. And Gary Monk in charge, they've got a very good manager.
Yeah, and I think we all feel the league this season is just a constant challenge. They've actually started the season better in terms of the performances and the points show, and they're off the back of the best half an hour they've had in terms of a goal return and a comeback. And you watched the second half performance against Blackpool, and it was totally different in terms of the goal output and the response, and you could sense their moment with the fans and their connection. So they'll come to us on a high, despite maybe the league position and the points return they've got. And they've invested well, recruited really well in the off-season. Like you said, touched upon, they've got a really good manager as well. So a tough test, but I don't think I'll ever sit here and go towards a league game this season and say it's not a tough test. Every game, as I say, but we're at home and we want to force the issue as much as we possibly can. And it feels like we've been, apart from the Tottenham game, feels like we've been away from home for a little period of time now.